Every product around you exists because of a plan. Welcome to the Industrial Analyst, where we uncover the strategy behind industry.
All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most powerful, yet pretty much invisible, forces shaping our world. We're talking about the supply chain. We're going on the hidden journey every single product takes before it reaches you. So let's just dive right in.
It's a simple question, right? But the answer is anything but simple. That journey from a raw ingredient or a teeny tiny component to the finished product you're holding in your hand is like a global epic of planning, production, and movement. And this diagram here, it gives you a sense of the sheer scale of it all. What you're looking at is a map of that journey. And yeah, it looks complex because it is complex. It involves suppliers and manufacturers and distributors all working in sync. But don't you worry, we're going to break it all down. Okay, so let's start by breaking this map down. To really get it, we need to learn the language of the supply chain. And the first question is the most basic one. What even is it? At its core, a supply chain is this huge global network that delivers products and services. The key idea here is engineered flow. This isn't random. It's a highly designed system where three things are always moving. You've got information, physical products, and of course, money. Now, to understand that flow, we need two really key terms: downstream and upstream. Think of it like a river, okay? Downstream is the direction products flow to you, from the raw materials to the factory to the store. And upstream is the opposite, moving back in the direction of the original suppliers. Now, let's apply those terms. As you can see, the physical product, it moves downstream from the supplier all the way to you, the customer. But when you pay for that product, your cash flows upstream in the complete opposite direction. See, they're two sides of the very same coin. Oh yeah, we've all been there. You order something, it's not quite right, and you got to return it. So where does that fit into this perfectly engineered one-way flow we've been talking about? That whole process has a name. It's called reverse logistics, and it's literally the supply chain working backwards. As you can see from the arrows at the bottom, returns create their own reverse flow, sending products back upstream for things like refunds or recycling. It's a really critical and honestly a growing part of the modern supply chain. So this massive, complex network with all these forward and reverse flows, it doesn't just happen by accident. Nope. It all begins with a plan. A very big, very high-level plan. Before a single item is ever made or shipped, company leaders have to define their strategic objectives. Are they going to compete on cost or speed or maybe environmental sustainability? These big, long-term decisions form the blueprint that shapes the entire supply chain, from which factories to build to which suppliers to partner with. Okay, so we have the master plan, but how does a high-level strategy actually turn into a package arriving at your door? Well, that happens in a few stages. It all happens in stages. First, that big strategy gets translated into actual tactical plans. Then, companies analyze demand. That's what you and I actually want to buy. And then they plan their supply to match it. Next comes the physical part, managing all the inventory and the distribution. And finally, they are constantly tracking quality to make the whole process better. It's really just a logical cascade, from a big idea to a real product in your hands. Now, a company can have the absolute perfect internal plan, but no supply chain operates in a bubble. It's constantly being pushed and pulled by these powerful forces from the outside world. And these here are the big ones, what we, the customers, expect. Government regulations, the economy, social trends, and of course, competitors. Any one of these can force a supply chain to completely change, sometimes like overnight. I mean, just think about it. A few years ago, waiting a week for a delivery, that was totally normal. But now, we all kind of expect next day or even same-day delivery, right? That collective expectation has literally forced companies to completely redesign their warehouse and logistics networks. We're seeing the same exact thing with sustainability. Our demand for greener products is reshaping supply chains from the ground up. It shows you that your choices, they have real power. So, we've mapped out the flows, we've understood the strategy, and we've seen all the outside pressures. But why does understanding this hidden network truly matter? What's the big deal?
Ultimately, it matters because the supply chain is the invisible backbone of our world. It's the system that makes modern life possible, quietly connecting billions of us to the things we need and want. From the food you eat to the phone you're probably holding, it all arrives through this incredibly intricate network.
And that kind of brings us to our final thought. This incredibly complex, interconnected system is what we all rely on. But its complexity, that can also be a vulnerability. So the next time you unbox a new phone or sip your morning coffee, think about the incredible journey it took. And just consider, what happens when just one single link in that global chain breaks?